To keep yourself updated, subscribe to Indigo Learn and click the bell icon.
Hi friends, I hope your preparation is going on in full swing and you are very much ready for your upcoming examination. Now in this video, I will talk about those 3 specific mistakes which many students commit in practical papers, and mind you, these 3 mistakes can cost you anywhere between 10 to 12 marks, and in some cases it can even cost you up to 15 marks. Now what are those 3 mistakes? The first mistake is ignoring the working notes. If you look at any of the question paper, one of the instructions would be working notes should form part of your answer. Now, what is this working note all about? If some information has not been given in the question which you need to derive, but it is not a part of the main solution. For example, the question talks about preparing the balance sheet. Now, a balance sheet has a specific format and you will only capture those details which are required for the balance sheet in your main answer. But to derive at some of the numbers, maybe to derive at the number of the fixed assets or the share capital, you will need to calculate something which is not directly given in the question. You are doing the computation, but it is not a part of the main solution. Such items must be shown in the working notes. And friends, it's very important to include all the working notes as a part of your answer. Even a simple computation, let's say the fixed asset cost is 1 lakh rupees, depreciation is given as 10%. So you know the depreciation is 10,000. You don't need to even use a calculator for this. But you must indicate this in a working note. It will carry some marks, maybe 0.5 marks, but a marks would be allotted to this. You must write all those workings which is not a part of the main solution, but which has been used in the main solution. Something which is given in the question, you need not write it in the working notes, but something that you have derived, you must definitely write. Now, what should be the format of the working note? Should it be in a tabular format? Should it be in a ledger format? Both the formats are acceptable. You can use any of the formats as per your convenience. One more question what many students have is, do we write the main solution first or do we write the working notes first? I had followed a practice of writing the working notes first, because only after you compute all the working notes, you will be able to complete your main solution. So my approach was first complete the working note and then write the main solution. Either ways is fine. So you can leave space for the main solution, do the working notes and then write your answer, or do the working notes first and then write the main solution. Now, why I am insisting on working notes? Many students don't write working notes in the answer. Say something as simple as computation of interest. It's very easy and you can directly compute on the calculator and you can directly write the answer. But friends, if you don't write the working note for it, you may lose up to 0.5 to 1 mark for each working note. So wherever required, wherever you have computed the information, please include that as a part of working note. Smaller working notes can go as a part of the main solution, like you're preparing some revaluation account or you're preparing some realization account. In the same account, you may write depreciation 10% of 1 lakh, 10,000. But this 10% of 1 lakh, it must come in your answer sheet. If you're doing a 16 marks problem, at least 5 to 6 marks would be allotted towards the working note. Wherever you write, either as a part of the main solution, either as a separate answer, before the solution, after the solution, but working notes is important. And I've seen many students who have not written working notes and they would easily lose 2 to 3 marks in a question. Because the sum computation, we feel it's very simple. Why do we need to write working notes? But this is not the correct approach. You must definitely write the working notes. This is the first part. The second mistake what many students do in practical paper, especially in accounting paper, is they will not write notes to account. The question asks you to prepare balance sheet. Students would just prepare the balance sheet. They will not write notes to account. Now, if you are not writing notes to account, mark my words, at least 4 to 5 marks is gone. Maybe the numbers are not changing, numbers are same, there is no adjustment in equity share capital, there are no bonus issue for which you need to write a separate note. But whenever you are preparing a balance sheet, notes must form a part of the balance sheet. So immediately after the balance sheet, write down all the notes which are relevant for the balance sheet, unless the question says you are not required to prepare notes, or the question asks you to prepare notes for only specific items. So sometimes the institute asks you to prepare notes only for maybe equity, share capital and fixed asset. In that case, only those 2 notes are sufficient. But otherwise, every item in the balance sheet for which a note is required, you must give a notes to account. Your balance sheet may be 100% correct. You must have given all the working notes. But if you don't write notes to account, again here you will easily lose out 4 to 5 marks. This is more from a company's account perspective. The third mistake what students do is not stating the assumptions clearly. Many a times it happens that some questions, the information given is not complete. Say for example, there is a question to compute deferred tax asset and future tax rate is not given, neither the current tax rate is given. Now in such a scenario, can you just leave the question? You know how to solve the entire question. Just because the tax rate is missing, you can't say that I won't solve the problem. You have to make an assumption and state maybe the tax rate is, say, let's say 30% and solve the problem. And this has to be mentioned clearly in your answer book. Don't think that because the question is incomplete, I will not solve it. Take the most logical assumption and write that assumption before you do the answer. Sometimes it happens that the information given is inconsistent. The question may say 10,000 shares of 100 rupees each, and in the outer column you will find only 1 lakh. Now one of the information is incorrect. If it was 10,000 shares into 100, it should have ideally been 10 lakhs, but the number given is 1 lakh. Now in such a scenario, what should you do? Can you say that because the question is incorrect, I will not solve the problem? No, this is not the approach you should take. Now here, if you change 1 lakh, maybe the balance sheet will not tally. So the logical assumption could be to use a face value of maybe 10 or reduce the number of shares depending on the scenario in the question. So make a suitable note, make a suitable assumption and then solve your answers, because you cannot just leave a question which is worth 16 marks saying that the question is incorrect. You will not get marks for that. You have to make an assumption and solve the problem. In fact, this instruction is also given in the question paper saying candidates are required to make suitable assumptions wherever necessary. So even if the question is incorrect, if you can make certain assumption and then solve the problem, you must definitely do that. Now these kind of questions, please write it at the end, because it may take a lot of time for you to decide the assumption. So keep the question for the end and solve it at the end, but don't leave the question. So in a practical paper, these three things are very important to note. There are other areas also, but these are the most critical areas, specifically around the working notes. Many students ignore the working notes. In the process, they will lose 5 to 6 marks easily. Please mark my words, even a simple computation, you have to give the working note either in the main solution or separately, but don't forget to give the working notes. I hope these 3 tips will help you score better in your examination. When you are near the borderline, these tips will help you to cross the borderline. All the best. Do share it with your friends. If you have any question regarding this, please write it down in the comment section. We will respond to that. And if you have any other topic for which you want us to create videos, for which you have a doubt, please let us know. We will prepare such videos for you. All the best.